Julie. I'm the Queen Creator and CEO at Dear Julie Julie and Dear Julie Julie DIY. I want to welcome you to my new channel, Dear Julie Julie DIY, where I love to take items from the dollar store, the thrift store, things that people give me, and things I have hanging around, and turn them into fun and beautiful things to have around my home. So if you like that sort of thing, please stick around. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload. Today I have some beautiful Easter projects for you that I made from items from the Dollar Tree, items that people gave me, and things I had hanging around. So let's get out our stuff, prepare to get messy, and let's jump right in. So here's a look at what we'll be making today. We'll be starting with the bunny sign. And I have some napkins from Tuesday morning, and then this napkin that was gifted to me, as well as some wire, Waverly chalk paint in white, a paintbrush. The sign is from the Valentine section at Dollar Tree, and we have some florals. Gonna have to have some scissors, a knife, it was a butter knife, some assorted ribbon from my stash. We're also going to be using Mod Podge and a brush, Say Hi to Midnight. We're also going to be using some assorted stickers that I had in my stash. So we're going to start with this napkin. It's 2-ply, so we need to go ahead and take off the extra ply and get it down to just 1 ply. I'll save that part to use for something else, like cleaning. I'm measuring with the sign that I'm going to be using and making sure that it'll fit when I cut this in half. So I've cut my napkin in half, and now I'm going to be ripping it so that I have a piece for the top and the bottom of my board. Next, I'm going to cut the ribbon off the top of my board, and there you see I'm using the Love board sign from Dollar Tree from Valentine's Day. So I'm using the butter knife to take off the galvanized heart. I'm going to go ahead and sand that down a little bit, and I sanded the letters a little bit as well, and then very importantly came back and cleaned off the sign. So getting it ready to paint, we'll be using white Waverly chalk paint. I got that at Walmart, and I'm using a very awesome old brush, and just going to go ahead and put down a pretty good coat of paint onto my sign. I didn't fill in the holes because I was planning to use those. But as you'll see, oops, something happens with that. So, but going ahead, and this ended up taking 2 coats, so I'm going to go ahead and set it there and let it dry. And I'll come back and put my second coat of paint on after it had dried. I was really happy with the way that the coverage was for the paint, and so just 2 coats, and go ahead and put the top back on my paint. And next we're going to let it dry, and now we're going to come in with the Mod Podge. I'm using a sponge brush this time, and I am going to go ahead and lay down my napkin, and I'm tapping it on. I'm just tapping my napkin on, adding more Mod Podge to hold the napkin down. Now remember, napkins are very, very fragile. So you want to be very careful how you are moving it around with the brush. You want a very wet brush if you're going to be actually moving around. Then I'm going to go ahead, and the edge is wet, and so I can just go ahead and take the edges off. So I do. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add flowers to the other side. Using the napkin, we're going to tap it down. We're going to add Mod Podge where we might have missed. Now you see I'm using the glossy Mod Podge, and that's because that's what I have, and I'm trying to use it up. And you can get Mod Podge at the Dollar Tree. Like I said, I had this in my stash. So we are just making sure that it is all down and staying down and not bubbling up. I will have some wrinkles, and I'm okay with that. I'm getting the edges off. And our little bunny appears in the right hand corner down there. He came from this napkin that was given to me. I cut him out, and except at the bottom, I ripped across the bottom so that his fur would look like it was in the flowers. So I'm going to add the decoupage onto the sign where I want to put the bunny. We're going to go ahead and put him down and tap him. Tap, tap, tap. So I'm tapping him on, and now I'm adding the Mod Podge on the top, and just very carefully because I don't want to move it around. I lost the footage of picking out the stickers, but I picked out the letters for the word welcome, and I am going ahead and I am Mod Podging those onto the sign. And I like it, but we're not done yet. We're going to bring out the bead box, pick out 5 beads and the wire, and I'm going to make a handle for the top of my sign. I'm going to wrap the wire around the beads and make the handle. I'm going to use my crocodile and cut holes into the top of the board because the holes from the original sign are down at the bottom now. So I've made a handle. Now I'm going to go ahead and take some scrap ribbon, and I've tied the pink ribbon into a shoelace bow, and then those other ribbons I've just tied together, and I'm going to tie them onto the handle with a twisty tie. And now I'm just gluing a variety of flowers that are from Dollar Tree and Walmart, and I'm going to go ahead and embellish the bow just by gluing the flowers onto the corner. And I absolutely love how this turned out. You can't even tell that there were holes down there at the bottom, but I just love this. Isn't it amazing what you can do with a napkin? And here it is where I have it hanging in my kitchen by the pantry door on my garden trellis. And I love it. And now for our second project, we're going to use 4 jingle blocks. I picked these up at a yard sale, and I'm going to go ahead and glue all 4 of them together. I am using the postcard kit Bunnies and Chicks from the Dear Julie Julie Etsy shop. I've printed them at 3.5 by 5. I've ripped one of the postcards around the edges, and I'm Mod Podging it onto the jingle blocks. So now we're going to go ahead and let it dry a little bit. I had this strip from a previous project, and it fit perfectly around the edges, and so I've glued that onto the edges. And next we'll be pulling out the bead box and the wire, and we're going to be making a handle. So you see I've added the beads up there. I'm going to put the beads on the handle. I'm going to roll the wire around each bead, and then I'm going to place the wire in between 2 of the jingle blocks on either side and make a handle. Now I'm adding some of the florals that I have, just floral pieces. So there's a little piece of boxwood, some lavender, and then a daffodil, one of the little ones. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a shoestring bow out of a pink piece of ribbon, and I'm going to glue that onto the corner. And this is so cute. I love the antique postcard on the jingle blocks. And project 3 starts with the eggs from Dollar Tree and some stickers that someone had given me. I'm going to decoupage the word Easter, 1 letter on each of the 6 eggs, and I'm showing them there in little wooden candlestick holders, but I actually end up using these cordial glasses that were a wedding gift, and I am so excited to get to use them, and I love the way this turned out. And we have another egg project. This time we're going to be using wooden thread spools that I had gotten from my mom's stuff, and I am adding Spanish moss to the top of each of the spools and then putting the egg on top. They're all different sizes and shapes, and I thought they would be fun to display with my antique books. So I did also add some of this really thin twine. It's actually packing twine that I had gotten from a friend, and I made little bows and I put them on each of them, and I love the way they turned out. They look so old-fashioned, and I just think that they are so fun. And by the way, the bunnies that you've seen in the video, those came from Dollar General. They were $1 each. We have one more project, and I'll be using this little bucket, some wire, another postcard, my crocodile, and some wire pliers. So I'm going to use the crocodile, and I am able to punch out holes in this little bucket using the crocodile. It was easy, and boom, just went right through. So the next thing, I've got a postcard. This is from the Dear Julie Etsy shop. It's the digital kit, Bunnies and Chicks. This is a postcard. I printed it at 3.5 by 5. And I'm going to go ahead and decoupage it, and I'm going to put it right over the welcome sign. Now, I like the shininess of this galvanized looking bucket, and so I have not done any extra painting or anything to it. I just wanted to make this look like the Easter basket buckets that I remember as a child. Now, I'm not an antique. The original, I have the original of this postcard, and it is an antique from like 1908. So I'm just tapping and making sure there's no wrinkles on the decoupage. And now I'm going to be making a handle for my bucket. Now I'm going to make a simple handle first. I am using this little bottle to get a circle in the middle top of my handle. Then I'm also going to use the bottle to help guide the sides of the top of my handle. Then I'm going to take my handle, straighten out those sides. I'm going to place them down inside through the hole in the bucket and flip the wire up. Cut the wire on both sides and wind it around the handle wire. And there you have our adorable vintage looking bucket. So that is our plain handle. And now we're going to go ahead and pull out the bead box. We're going to choose some beads, and we're going to make a decorative handle for our Easter bucket. So this is going to require some wire, and we're going to go ahead and cut off a length of wire for us to put the beads on. So getting things out of the way. So we're going to put our beads onto our wire, and we're going to curl our wire around each bead. So the first one will be curling up, the second one will be curling down, and so on. And this will give us a decorative handle for our bucket. And again, this reminds me of things that I remember seeing as a child. So another bead, and wrapping or curling our wire around it. And now we're straightening out our handle and getting ready to attach it to the bucket. We're going to put our wire ends down inside of our bucket and pull the edges up, wrap them around just like we did before. Cut them off. And we are going to have an adorable tin bucket for Easter. And next we're going to be adding flowers to our bucket. I have daffodils and blossoms from Dollar Tree and boxwood and lavender from Walmart. So we're going to start with the boxwood, and I put in 5 pieces of the boxwood to fill the bucket, and then I'll be adding 2 of the blossoms, one towards the front and one towards the back, kind of at an angle. And then the lavender, because I'm starting with the tallest florals, and they're spiky and tall, and so kind of opposite from where those were put. And then we're going to put a daffodil in the front and the daffodil in the middle back there. And I have a little blue egg, and we're going to add that, and I think this is adorable. Absolutely adorable antique postcard tin bucket for Easter. The postcards are available in the Dear Julie Etsy shop. I'll have it in the description box below. And next we're going to show you everything that we made today all together. I just love it. I can't wait to put it around my home and to begin to celebrate spring and Easter. Thank you for joining me today at my new channel, Dear Julie DIY. I hope you enjoyed what you saw and you plan to come back. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Dear Julie DIY. Bye-bye. So let's get started. And let's get to Easter. We're gonna hop right in. We're working on Easter today, so let's hop right into it.